everybody's doing well, blessed, and enjoying family this Sunday. As always, thank you to all for everyone's words, wishes, prayers, as the love and support everyone shares with me. As always, I appreciate everyone from the heart. Also, do please like, share, and subscribe. Well, everyone, continuing off on the note I put out this morning, which, I'd given my word I was going to confirm once it came down the pipeline that it was true. Because it's been a month long thing, right? And up and downs. But this is going to be more on the details exactly how they ended up killing El Mencho and who and how it led to it, right? But, anyways, let me start off with a month ago, even out here in the ranch, the family got warned that the States was in Mexico, you know, basically slow your roll, stay in the shadows, because United States is in Mexico. They're building up a operativo or an operation, and they want to capture someone big. Everything was up in the air on who it was, because the current war here in Culiacan, and there's open wars in reality in a lot of different spots in Mexico, right? So, anyways, as time went by, maybe 2 weeks ago, yeah, 2 weeks ago, they basically it pointed to how it was, right? Which basically, right there in Sayulita, they were conducting trainings. U.S. Marines supposedly giving training to the Mexican Marines, right? Which is nonsense, really, if you think about it. But when that came out to air, it was obvious where they were leading towards, right? And for those that are a little bit aware of El Mencho and his family and his gatherings and goings and comings, there's a reason why, like, for example, his wife, and they always get busted in Zapopan, because it's basically a city near a way to Tapalpa, which is the Sierra, right? Up there. It's the long way there, per se, you know, just to kind of make sense for those that are aware on how Jalisco is. To get there, to make it easy, right? Basically, you go through Sayulita, Nayarit. You keep driving, you'll eventually hit San Juanito. And the next turn inwards, right? You hit the Tepec. Once you hit the peg, you drive, I don't know, maybe 2, 3 hours, and you eventually hit Tapalpa. There's literally nothing up there, but it was the refuge of El Mencho and his family, right? No one went up there. Everybody, you were aware of the underworld. You knew where he was at. It was no secret. Again, the Mexican government has known this for years, and he has never been affected, right? Whenever they touched his family, it was because they went down to Zapopan and to buy something, or they were driving through towards Guadalajara or X like that, right? But just speaking with trusting people I know from out there in Jalisco, right? Um, he was warm, hey, they're right here. He didn't believe it. By the time it became a reality, basically, there was no really no way out of there, right? and all you could do is hope and recall gente. And just to make it clear, it was the Mexican government that did the arrest, but U.S. said it was involved a lot more than what they're going to put out there. They basically did the capture, and they had the government of Mexico present him. And I say this 100% sure of it. Also, other factions. I always said it, Mexico's trash. They attempt to take control by telling, by giving up the people that open the doors towards them. And that's how the powers always gang here. Other factions. But here's the number one person that really set them up. As you guys know, a little bit ago, they captured and extradited Mencho's brother. And he spoke with certainty to the state where the Mexican government could not make a blind eye on where he was at, what he was doing, you know. And it's just a cold reality how Mexico works, right? Your own brother is the one that sets you up to get killed. Because from the gate, an individual like El Mencho, he was never going to get arrested. You know, like they said when they captured El Chapo, it was a big mistake. They said the Mexican government arrested El Chapo. For those that seen the videos, it's a lie. It was the U.S. government as well. And he got given the opportunity to speak. He didn't, surprisingly, right? He held his tongue, but nevertheless, there was too many things up in the air, which would later surface with El Mayo, because he spoke. He sang like an opera singer, right? But they weren't gonna allow that this time. Basically, they went in this Sunday at night, and it just became real too fast, right? Keep in mind, to get up there is Sierra, nothing but Sierra. The closest ocean per se, you have to drive all the way down to San Juanito or Nayarit, Sayulita, that area. And that's where the government was supposed to be at. But at the same time, you guys know that technology ain't the same. The training, they were already being surrounded. So by the time they were keeping an eye out for what was going on out there, and by the time they started moving towards that way, they were already surrounded. And yeah, a lot of people got killed, right? I know a lot of people are aware, have seen what Mexico looks like right now, right? Specifically in the state surrounding Jalisco, right? But there's a lot more. I always say that the news is gonna put out. A lot of people got taken out that day. A lot of Marines. There is casualties from the U.S. As you guys know, I have they're camaradas, straight camaradas from Cali that are real heavy up there with Jalisco, right? And before they took Mencho out, a lot of people fell with him. Remember, I told you they went inside the prison of Tapalpa? Well, you see, there's three individuals that are positioned in second place. You guys know two. But that day, the one they did arrest was El Tres. El Tres is individual that was always with a Mencho, doing his doings, crosses, basically his right hand man, right? Per se, he got arrested and is the one that Jalisco broke into the prison, did a bunch of killing in the prison, and broke him out. But the question is, what's next, right? What's next is usually what always happens when the states, or let's just say the states, right, makes Mexico do this. They don't comprehend the wiggles, right, of Mexico. Because we're sitting down with familia, just all hell's gonna break loose. Because as you know, there's three different individuals. One that has all Nayarit, some of Jalisco, and the one's the power. El Tres has all that area, of the Sierra Madre, some of Guadalajara, and Sapo, Valles, Vallarta, Sayulita. So now they're gonna, it's me, right? Type of thing. Kind of what happened here in Culiacan with the arrest of El Mayo and Chapo. But again, it is 100% confirmed, right? That El Mecho's gone, as you guys probably seen by now. And it's exactly how it happened, right? It's been a month long hunting experiment with USA government, Mexican government, and other factions per se. But in reality, it's the same faction within wanting to throw a bone to the government to basically get them off their back while they're reorganized. And at the same time, there's big cause chaos, right? And you guys think that's correct, you're gonna hit an organization, hit it and allow it to reorganize. It's a never-ending game, right? It's just part of what I say, covering the sun with one eye, with one finger, right? Type of thing. When Mencho started, is it's funny how everything started, right? He was known as El Torcido, and he started off, you could say, off a branch of Sinaloa, Nacho Conorel, and El Lobo, and then he became a traitor. Well, the ending came in the same way. The sad part is it came from his own brother. Think about it. They have arrested their son, their daughter, the wife. None of them have spoke. But the man that Mencho gave everything to, his brother, he gets caught and gave all the 411. I mean, the families here in Culiacan, they're hot because, let me just say this, he was trusted to the point he was brought to a lot of different ranches. He gave up the blueprint on the houses, streets, the underground, how to get about the third road. Basically left no way out for his brother to escape. So tell me that ain't trash behavior. But anyways, I just wanted to put a little bit on how he got arrested. They defended themselves. Grenades, trying to knock down helicopters. You're not going to see none of that in the news. In Tapalpa, they took down a helicopter, grenades. It started like at 1 something in the morning and it went on for hours. But again, what happens in the Sierra stays in the Sierra. The only thing they're going to speak on is the one that's going to pump their ego, right? We killed the Mencho. They don't. Have you seen any news on how El Tres got arrested, got taken into jail, and the own cartel went in, did a bunch of killing, and took him out of jail, and he's a free man now, ready to fight for his place? Again, don't trust everything you hear on the news. But like I always said, don't trust nobody. Just pick up a little bit here and there. What's sad is look at what's happening in Oaxaca, Veracruz, Michoacan, Nayarit, Jalisco. You're even feeling it here in Sinaloa, Zacatecas, Tijuana. Think about all the innocent people. And then a lot of people ask me on the live, what do you think about the U.S. government going in after these people? Here's a perfect in look. I don't gotta say what I think. They come in, take what they want, and all the people left behind are the ones that feel the ricochet. Unfortunately, all that innocent people. Schools cancel, everything. They're picking up whoever they see on the streets in at least 11 states. You know, but again, congratulations. You could pat yourself on the back. You kill one individual and you're causing the lives of hundreds, thousands of innocent people and what's to come. But anyways, mi gente, I just wanted to follow up with what I spoke on and came out my mouth, right? I will leave pictures of how Mexico's looking right now. I know you guys probably seen by yourself, but that it was better than you guys seeing this dumb mask. As always, I send my love. Stay true to yourself and loyal to loved ones.
See you in the next video. Thank you for your time and for being part of this wonderful YouTube family. See you next time.